Salve discipuli. Okay, for our homework tonight, you're just going to watch me talk a little bit about these reflexive idioms that we saw in this lesson with forms of fero, fere, tuli, latus. These can be a little bit confusing, so I just wanted to spend one night of homework just focusing in on how these work. So the two expressions I'm talking about are se confere, which means to betake oneself, which we never say in English. It can also just mean to go or to proceed. And the other one is se refere. Obviously, they're closely related, which means to go back or to return. Literally, to carry oneself back. So, what's going on? I can pretty much guarantee that people don't really understand how these would form with different subjects, don't really understand what's going on grammatically here, etc. So, here's what I want you to consider. This right here, me refero, would mean I go back. So what's happening? Well, refero with this O ending clearly has the subject of I. Alright, that's a no-brainer, right? We've seen that since the first year of Latin. The O here tells us the subject is I. Do you have a class in here now?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're going to do the video tonight.
Wrong class.
Sig! Sig! Sig Gustorp just marched in here. How about that? Alright, so, me refero, the O tells you the subject is I. So this literally is saying, I carry myself back. So what does that mean? That means that this me here, just like the se is up here, is ultimately acting like an accusative, direct object. That's what it is. That's why I'm saying I carry myself back. Okay, this is the accusative direct object of refero. So if I wanted to say something like, you carry yourself back, what would happen? Well, you would have to take this and make it a verb that has a subject of you. Refares. That S tells us the subject is you. But over here, you would need the word for yourself. Okay, we can't use me, that won't work. We can't use se, because that's a third person, himself, herself, or itself. We need the reflexive pronoun that's reflecting back to you. And that form is what, class? That's right, it's te. So te refares is you carry yourself back, or you return. Now, if we're trying to say he returns, for example, that would be refert. That's he carries back. Now we have to say he carries himself back, so we need the third person reflexive pronoun. Himself, herself, itself, that would be se. So se refert is he carries himself back, or he returns. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Well, what happens if we need some plural subjects? In other words, how do we say they carry themselves, or they betake themselves? Let's change verbs here, or change expressions. They betake themselves. Okay, so that would be conferunt. That's how I say they betake. Okay, they betake themselves. This is still a third person reflexive. That would be se conferunt. Okay, they betake themselves, or simply they proceed. What about y'all betake yourselves, or y'all proceed? I would start with conferitus. Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. It's pharaoh, ferris, ferret, feramis, ferritus, ferret. Yeah, I think I'm right. So conferitus. And then over here, I would need the reflexive pronoun that points back to you all. Okay? Because I want to say y'all carry yourselves back. Okay? Y'all, I'm sorry, not back, but y'all betake yourselves. So that pronoun is going to have to be wos, because that's the accusative form of that pronoun. If I want to say we betake ourselves, or we proceed, we go, I'm going to use cone, fair, imus, because my subject is we. All right, that's why I have an mus here. But ultimately, I'm saying we betake ourselves. So the reflexive pronoun reflecting back to we would be nos. So nos con ferimus. We betake ourselves, or we proceed. All right, that might be a little jumbled right now. So let's do just a little more practice. Let's try maybe a different tense. What if I want to say, we will return? We will return. So, ultimately what I'm literally saying is, we will carry ourselves back. So, re, fair, to make this future, I'm going to need an emus. Okay, because remember, ultimately this was a third conjugation verb at one point. So this is we will carry back. Then we want to say we will carry back ourselves. Okay? That's going to require, once again, this nos to mean ourselves, because this is the accusative form of that pronoun. So we will carry back ourselves, we will return. All right? What if I want to say, y'all proceeded? Y'all proceeded. Okay, in the perfect tense. This is going to be a little more tricky. So that's cone. Whoops. Let's check that. Let's try y'all were proceeding. Let's avoid the perfect tense. So cone therebatis. Okay, that's y'all were carrying together. Now we want to make sure it's y'all were carrying yourselves. Okay, y'all were betaking yourselves. So we have to use the accusative form wos. So you'll see here, if we have a mus here, suggesting the subject is we need the pronoun ourselves in the accusative here. If we have a tis here, suggesting the subject is y'all, we need the pronoun wos here, because it's reflecting back to the subject y'all. If we have, like we saw earlier, an O here telling us the subject is I, we need a may over here. All right, so can you anticipate what pronoun is coming? Can you translate the verb and fill in the pronoun for me? For example, if I want you to be able to say, let's say, you all are returning, and I give you referitus. Okay? What would you put here? I'm trying to say y'all are returning, and I give you blank referitus. What would you put here? Wos. What if I want you to say he is returning? That would be re fair. And what ending would we put on for the he? The letter T, right, for he. And what pronoun would we have to put in front of it? Because we're ultimately trying to say he carries himself back. All right, himself, what would that be? Say. All right. So, that is all I have for you today. I just want you to be familiar with this. I might give you a little quiz tomorrow on this. Make sure you have good notes. And make sure you're ready to ask questions before class starts if any of this is confusing. That is all. Waleta.